Hi, I'm Scott Hodgson. I am a professor at the University of Oklahoma, and I teach film production. Now, why I got into this field is I love telling stories, and I love being creative, and I love problem solving, and I love the whole process of working together with a team to create some sort of story, some sort of device, some sort of media, some creative element. As a teacher at the University of Oklahoma, my job is, of course, to teach classes, but most importantly, I get students involved in actually creating projects, developing some of the projects of their own. We actually have real clients that come in here, and we're doing projects for the clients, and sometimes we travel all over the country doing projects. Or it might be standing on the 20-yard line of the football field doing jib camera. Or it might be doing a drama, or it might be shooting a commercial. We get to do so many different things, and it's a lot of fun. And my job is to help manage different projects that are going on and help different students facilitate those, whether it's from directing and actually calling what every shot's going to be and figuring out what that's going to be, to writing scripts, to editing, sitting down and putting together the final edit. Get to do a little bit of all of that. It's a lot of fun. My days are never the same. I always have different things going on because normally I have 3, 4, 5, 10 projects going on at the same time. And so one, I might be planning a trip on the other side of the country. Another time I might be sitting out there and actually going out on a shoot, or we're coming back and watching footage, or I'm critiquing things with my students. But it's almost always in the process of, from beginning to end of the process of putting a story together. And then finally you have that chance where you show the video to the audience. And you get to see the reactions of them going, yay! Well, hopefully they say yay, but for the most part they do, because you've worked really hard at developing a story that people will like. When I was in high school, I only had a glimpse of what this field was going to be like. And I didn't know much about it. And so I went to college and I did a degree in radio and television film. And that's where I learned the crafts of the skills, the different positions that you have. And I began putting things together, and I made a lot of mistakes in the process, but that's what you do in school. You kind of learn that process. And because of that, I was a lot more marketable when I graduated. But to get into this field, you want to have some sort of educational background to learn what to do in this field. This is not necessarily a 9-to-5 job. If you want to sit behind a desk and work and come in at 9 o'clock and leave at 5, this is not the field you want to get into. But if you like to be always out and doing things and doing a project that has a deadline and working at the deadline and working in the crew, and you're up late night editing because you know tomorrow it's going to be shown, the biggest challenge is meeting that deadline. The biggest excitement is meeting the deadline. You know, they go together. It's kind of like a rush. Some people like to be doctors, and some people like to work in the emergency room. I like to work in the emergency room. There are so many options of what you can do in this field, because if you take a look at it, there's making films, okay, being in the film business. But that's very different from maybe working for a company and being an in-house communications specialist, or working for a production house. Maybe you specialize in special effects or doing audio or editing. So you have all these different fields, and there's all these support fields that go along with it. The question is, do you watch media? Well, somebody had to make that media, and we're the people that make that media. You know, the ability to tell those stories. And to be honest with you, this field is growing. It's changing and always changing, but there are a lot of positions out there and a lot of unique aspects of what you can do. But the first thing is you got to compose shots. And right now we're shooting with 2 cameras, okay? So we have 2 cameras going here. Sometimes I'm going to be looking at this camera, and sometimes I'm going to get shots from this camera over here that's going to take a look at me and see what happens. And at some point you're going to put those together. But along with these cameras, you then have other shots that you're going to have, where you're going to leave the cameras and have B-roll, the background footage, the other shots that help tell your story. And basically, you have to create a world like we see the world. You're gonna figure out who you're gonna talk to, and you're gonna look right at that person. You're gonna have a conversation. But in a film, we're not looking right at the person. We're often on the side. We're looking from the side because we're like a person that's just joined that conversation, not actually having the conversation. And so we have to shoot that, and we shoot it often from multiple angles, from here, the long shot. And so that's one of the jobs, is creating these shots and looking around, because when somebody's talking, what we do is do this. We look from here to there, to there, to there, and we keep going back and forth as we're looking at people talking. That's how we see the world. Well, as videographers and cinematographers, we do that same thing. We give them those different views that they can see what view that you want them to see it from. You as a director or as a producer, when you come in, you're really thinking through, how do I craft this story? And what are the elements that I need? And how do I tell people about that? Once you have created all your footage, there's then a process of going into the editing room, and where you sit down and you have all your different angles of things you've shot. A lot of times I do a documentary, and so it'll mean I've done interviews with different people. We have all these different interviews, and we have to take all those interviews and put them together to tell a story. And then once they tell a story, we have some of that thing. We're going to have footage that goes along with that story. And so that they can tell their story about what they're doing, and we can see. One of the nice things about film is it allows us to take people to see things, or to do things, to experience something they would never be able to experience before. Have you ever seen a giraffe? Well, you might have at the zoo, but have you ever seen one in the wild? And the answer is probably yes, because you've watched a National Geographic special, or you've seen it in school, you saw it on some program growing up. Well, that's because the cameras took you there and they saw that experience and brought it back to you. That's what we get to do, is take people and show them things that they normally wouldn't get to experience. Now we got to add music. We have to add sound effects. We have to add those other things that make the experience more realistic. Because when we're in the world, we watch things, but we also have ears, and we hear things. And music, when you put the music track on, it just comes alive. Sound effects, Hey, if I want some noise of somebody walking around, maybe I need some shirt noise. You have somebody that actually creates all those noises and all those sound effects. If you want to get into this field, I got into it from being in theater and doing musicals and singing in high school. And I got involved in doing a lot of that, and I was doing like the morning announcements on the PA system. And I thought that's kind of cool, until one day I worked behind the scenes and helped put a show together on the stage. And I kind of like doing that stuff as well. So you can get involved with those kinds of things. That's a start. If you really want to get into making films, then go make a film. You don't have to have a fancy camera. You can have a regular cell phone. And a cell phone has a little camera in it. And that camera gives you the ability to actually go and create things yourself. And so go make a film, put something together, grab some friends, and go try doing things. A lot of our students have come in here, and they just come in and get together with friends and make a film. Now, they're often not all that good at the beginning, but it's kind of like learning how to be an artist. If you draw, were your first drawings very good? No, but as you practice and keep going at it, your drawings get better and better and better. It's the same thing with making movies. The more you practice, the better it's going to be. There's a whole variety of options of what you can go for. You can work on a small crew. This is a small crew here. So here's the crew we got here. Arlene, there you go. Say hi. There you go. And it's just a small crew being able to sit in this. Well, look at the camera person. He's sitting on the hallway. But you can also work on large crews that have hundreds of people. And large films will have an immense amount of people. When you go on a film set or on a shoot set, you have the director. The director is the person in charge of everything. But you also have the producer. And the producer is the person that organized everything. But before you get to that location, somebody had to find that location for you. And then you have to have your crew. You have the people that do lighting, and there's a lot of lighting that goes on. There's an art director, somebody who in a film is working on the look, the feel of your whole piece. You have to build sets. I once built a set where I was doing an earthquake, and I had to create a collapsing porch, and I had to build a porch within a porch just to get that look. Maybe your job is going to be to fly the drone, because somebody has to fly the drone and get those cool aerial shots. You have a camera crew, and the crew has some assistants as they go through and they position and get the different shots that are going to be needed. There's people that do hair and makeup. Okay, you don't have to do a lot of hair for me, but for other people, you got to do the hair for. Transportation. Those guys actually make a lot of money just moving things around, because you have to move too often to weird locations. You got to move people there, you have to house them. And craft services. There's a whole food business around the film industry. When you get done shooting, you then have a whole team that goes into editing. And the editing is more than just sitting down and putting pictures together. It's putting the pictures together, adding sound, adding music, adding all the elements. And then you have the business side. What's good of having a film if nobody goes and watches it? And so how do you handle distribution and getting it out there, the marketing, and all the public relations that goes around it? If you want to be an actor, you're going to want to have a talent agency that represents you. And if you sing and dance, there's a role for you there too as well. There's a lot of jobs you can do without a college degree. And there's some options of things that you can do. There's also a lot of great two-year programs at the community colleges that can get you prepped for some of the base jobs of being a grip and some of the basic things that are going to get you in this field. If you want to be at a higher level and move up and be more of the storyteller, a degree would probably be really beneficial for you. Go to a program that has a great film program and learn how to do that. I did that, and it was one of the best things I could have done to help me actually get into this field. But no matter what, try getting it in. If there's something around that you can get some experience and get a little job and get on a film set or get on a movie set, or if you have a friend that's doing it, just hang out, check it out, and if you like it, then figure out, how can I do more of this?